Good morning. It's a beautiful day we are witnessing today. Once again, to come back to where it started for me and then hand over the mantle to General Mbadi and team. Let me first and foremost extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to God also for his providence and blessings this far. And in addition, I want to thank His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for having given me this great opportunity to serve as CDF of the mighty CDF since 9th January 2017 up to 24th of June 2021. It has been quite an interesting and learning 4.5 years at the helm of our mighty force. It is also the capstone of my active service life, and it gives me a strong sense of pride. If there's anything I would do again and again, like they sing, it's to be a soldier and to meet different wonderful people bound together by one purpose of service to country. And I'm glad I met all of you in the course of our work. Sir, the UPDF has over time grown into a professional and formidable force, successfully delivering on its constitutional mandate of preserving the territorial integrity of Uganda, cooperating with civilian authority in emergency situations, fostering harmony with the civilian population, and engaging in productive activities for the development of the country. We have registered tangible successes in ensuring a stable and peaceful country, and the UPDF has demonstrated its enduring character as a force for good, both here and internationally. It's therefore with this background that I'm greatly honored to pass on the mantle of this great office to the new CDF who has just been unveiled, General Mbasu Mbadi. The aim of this report is to update you as the incoming CDF of the UPDF's current strategic posture, details of which are contained in this report. I'm also available where needed to fill you in on the other aspects of your assignment that may require further clarification. The report covers the following: functions of the CDF, general security situation, status of the UPDF, the budget, pensions and gratuity management, infrastructure development, welfare, training, capabilities acquisition, peace support operations, regional cooperation and defense diplomacy, and finished business achievements conclusion. Functions of the CDF. According to Section 8(1) and 2(a) of the UPDF Act, the functions of the office of the CDF are the following. 1, the CDF is the head of the defense forces. 2, the CDF is responsible for the command, control, and administration of the defense forces. The CDF, in addition to the above, executes other responsibilities as may be assigned from time to time by the Commander-in-Chief, including, but not limited to that of being the chair of the National Security Council Operational Subcommittee. This subcommittee comprises the CDF as chair, the IGP, the Commissioner General of Prison, the DG ISO, the DG ESO, and the CMI. You may co-opt any other member as you may wish. Nevertheless, there are some threats of terrorism, isolated cases of criminality, and insecurity mainly across our common borders with Congo and South Sudan. Lately, due to the removal of the 5 Division to the area of 2 Div, we've had flashes of cattle rustling in Karamoja. In spite of these isolated cases of threats, we are generally stable. Due to the instability in DRC and South Sudan, and then of course the publicized hostility to the southwest of our frontier, we experience also sometimes episodes of insecurity adjacent to these borders. The UPDF has nevertheless effectively managed to counter all these threats, and we are in large measure peaceful and stable across the country. Externally, the activities of negative armed groups, including the ADF, FDLR, Mai Mai, NAS in South Sudan, and Al-Shabaab in Somalia, continue to threaten our security, but also to undermine regional stability. When it comes to terrorism, the threat is real. The Al-Shabaab is still there, and it has hostile intentions against Uganda and the other AMISOM troop contributing countries. ADF still maintains terror cells in Congo, but also in the country, which are linked to the killing of the Muslim clerics in the past. And recently, all the pointers are that it is the same group that made an attempt on one of our senior generals. The recruitment and radicalization of the youths by this group remains a threat to the country. So it's something you need to contend with and to check in order to keep our country secure, working with the other members of the security fraternity. Political situation, the country is stable and peaceful after successfully conducting the January 2021 general and presidential elections. Acts of civil disobedience and defiance that had erupted were contained by the joint security forces. However, some radical elements still continue with schemes to cause instability in the country. The current socio-economic challenges resulting from the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic, global economic pressures, youth unemployment, and instability in the neighboring states also impact negatively on the economic situation of the country. However, interventions by government, including efforts to mitigate the effects of COVID-19, as well as other measures like those geared at East African integration, infrastructure development, operation wealth creation activities, among others, are in place to address many of these challenges. Disarmament. Karamoja sub-region is generally peaceful. Nevertheless, we've experienced numerous cattle raids between different clans through illicit alliances. Incidents of inter and extra-clan cattle theft are experienced, as well as cross-border incursions from South Sudan and Kenya, which persist. A directive has been given to the UPDF by the President to beef up the deployments along the borders to deter these incursions, and also to recruit more 2 brigades to reinforce the 3rd Division. This, as well as other political economic measures that create alternative livelihood options, should help to decisively resolve the Karamoja problem. The ADF. As earlier mentioned, the ADF remains a major threat to Uganda's national security. It maintains bases in eastern DRC, in Beni territory, and operates in the general areas of Kikingi, Eringeti, and Mwalika, as well as recent thrusts towards Boga and Irumu areas, among others. It has maintained attacks against the FARDC, that is the Congolese army, and MONUSCO forces, killing civilians and looting property. Recently, they attacked Beni Hotel, a hotel in Beni. I'm told you had just left that place, and they killed a number of people. So they are there, they are bold, they are open, and we've been talking with our colleagues there to see what to do, as I will say in my report. It has continued to infiltrate itself into the country to carry out assassination operations. Last, it has mutated into a wider international jihadist group with tentacles now as far as the Cabo Delgado province of Mozambique. That's as far as it has gone, and to show the magnitude of this threat. Plans are underway to conduct preemptive operations with the DRC along our frontier. You've been there, and this just came back, so I don't need to dwell on this point. The other threats from DRC include groups like Codeco, which also threaten our areas like Zombo in the northwest. The LRA, no longer a big threat, but it's a menace in the region, especially Central Africa and DRC. Still conducts killings and abductions, looting and poaching, has a residual strength of about 150 to 200 fighters, gallivanting in this general area. South Sudan, the political and security questions still persist. The country remains fragile and a major concern for Uganda. We are one of the guarantors of the peace agreement and process, together with Khartoum. Militia groups are many there, especially in Central and Western Equatoria, and these continue to perpetuate insecurity along our common border and along the major routes. The other day, we lost drivers who are going to Juba, so this is one area to keep a keen eye on. This situation has significantly disrupted trade and traffic. The revitalized ceasefire agreement implementation still remains largely on paper. We have a general there who replaced General Lokech Birungi, so he'll keep updating you on the process there. The unification of forces is also still unfulfilled, and it's one of the tasks to General Birungi. Somalia. Situation is relatively calm throughout Sector 1, which we occupy as UPDF. Limited and isolated kinetic activities were registered in form of IEDs, probing attacks and assassinations. Mogadishu in particular witnessed increased political activity following the events of the 24th and 25th of April 2021, when the SNA force of about a battalion mutinied and joined the opposition and advanced from Middle Shabelle and Lower Shabelle, occupying grounds of tactical importance within Mogadishu. However, on 1st May 2021, normalcy returned when the lower house rescinded the 2-year extension for President Farmajo, restoring the 17 September agreement and tasking the Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Robo to spearhead the election implementation roadmap and oversee security. On 27th May 2021, the National Electoral Consultative Conference between the FGS and FMS leaders, among other stakeholders, under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister, was held at Aden Adule Airport and successfully ended with no incident. This is a remarkable achievement because we thought they were going to lose it. The AMISOM operations are progressing well and several achievements have been made regarding recovery of territory. However, this has not been matched with the requisite pace of extending the reach and authority of government in the liberated areas. The challenges of delayed payment of troop allowances, aging fleets, inadequate force multipliers, and failure to build a cohesive Somali national force, among others, still affect the mission. There was a mission review conducted by the UN and partners, which, however, didn't take into account the TCC's views and the AU's views. The AU decided to do its own. You'll get a report. There are different perspectives, especially about AMISOM exit strategy, which is now mainly time-based rather than conditions-based. due to the pressure of the international partners. And this is in spite of the lack of concerted efforts to build the SNA, the Somali National Army, and other security forces. And this, we believe, should be the main foundation for the AMISOM exit strategy and guarantee for durable peace after we leave Somalia. This, therefore, does not portend well for this important mission, where a lot of treasure and blood have been expended. Annex B has details about this mission. Starting with the land forces, they are currently composed of 6 infantry divisions, 1 to 5, then the artillery division. Then we have specialized arms, the armored brigade, currently involved in a number of operations, AMISOM, the UN Guard unit in Somalia, the UMTT in Equatorial Guinea. We also deploy officers on international duty in various countries, observers, liaison officers, defense advisors, as well as some general officers in diplomatic or foreign service duty. We are also very active at ESF and in the ceasefire and transitional security arrangements monitoring and verification mechanism in South Sudan. And here we've made a commitment to make some contribution. I hope we make good on this for the good of our defense diplomacy. Planned activities, there are a plan to relieve 2 DIV for training at Ruhengeri for about 4 months or 5, with 5 DIV substituting them, has also been made by the CLF, outgoing CLF. You need to take it up with the the May 2020 documentation exercise, which collected data of all personnel who had served in the armed forces of Uganda since colonial times to date. And this was done because prior to this verification, the ministry and the UPDF did not have clear data on these categories of claimants, which was perpetuating fraud without exhausting the claimants. The task force verified this data through a countrywide reassessment exercise, and this formed the basis for clearing the backlog, which is ongoing. In total, the May 2020 exercise documented 154,538 persons of civil categories, as indicated in the table at page 12. The details are in the Annex F of the brief from the Chief of Pensions and Gratuity. Infrastructure development, platforms, air-based platforms, I won't give details, and the annexes have the details. Marine Brigade capabilities enhancement, we've acquired more boats, refurbished others, including the Arinda boats, which we acquired in 1987. Now they have been brought to, refurbished to new stature. The Ngasa command boat is the latest addition to our fleet from our friends in Russia. The PS has details. She's been coordinating with the head of the Russian expatriate team, and this too should be concluded. Management and administrative systems in a bid to ensure proper personnel administration and management. Systems like IRMIS and EFT are in place, and the issues of IRMIS have been resolved also. To date, personnel payments are directly effected on individual accounts, eliminating the potential problem of the UPDF in fulfillment of its constitutional mandate to support civil authority in terms of emergency and disaster situations have performed very well. Today, as I hand over office, I would like to bring the following ongoing projects where UPDF actively got involved to your attention. UPDF still leads Operation Wealth Creation. Beyond distribution of inputs, OWC now sits at the apex or high table of policy formulation, monitoring, and evaluation of the implementation of government programs, where the parish model has been approved as the preferred approach to achieve greater effect. And you are no stranger, sir, to OWC, where you came from. These have been your partners, but here now you've reached their source, OWC, and how it works. The OWC is in the process of recalibrating for new roles. This delicate transition to the new roles without radically breaking with the founding roles needs careful management, working together with the OWC leadership, albeit without requisite funding. I had people cheer at Kololo, but when we looked below the veil, the money wasn't there. So I would want to caution that rather than wait for the big bang approach of doing all at once when money is available, it is advisable to scale this ambition and start with modest numbers of houses at a time for our service personnel. I'm happy to report that through this approach and rationalization of our construction budget, we've already been able to do significant work at a number of places, like I mentioned in the other table: Ruhengeri, Chihumuro, Irenga, Karama, Singo, the brigade headquarters, the hospital, name it. So we can do it in a measured way so that when the big things come, they find us moving. The issues of Kaweweta were finally resolved and all the earlier works completed. What remains is finishing and completing the additional works, including fencing and the quarters for instructors. This was a phenomenal milestone. In the area of capital development and improvement at workplaces, it is high time the ministry and the UPDF embarked on putting up a befitting ministry and UPDF joint services modern headquarters. This Mizigo at Mbuya can't go on. And I had started on it with the permanent secretary and JECOS, and we had sanctioned drafting of plans and designs. It must be accomplished. I missed it being one of the markstones of my legacy. But sir, you've come at the right time. Gen Mbadi and General Elwelu are here. I gladly pass on the idea for you to conclude. Madame Rossetti is an able ally there, and Madame Buturo and the rest of the team. If SFC can do it in their modest means, what about you? I think it's something you need to do. Otherwise, now you see everybody is building an office here. So you need tested hands, able hands to run it. Increment of salary is planned this financial year, starting with scientists, pilots, and instructors. We added instructors because they are key in regenerating the force all the time. This, however, should extend to the whole force in the other financial year. Improvement of family welfare through women groups with the help of the Commander-in-Chief, who donated seed capital for development. I think this is one area, General Peter, you need to help CPC to ensure that that money reaches the beneficiaries, but also is used for not consumption. This far, I think General Musanyifu and CPC have been cautious because of not, by laying structures for its use, because they didn't want to risk the money being spent and you can't find a trace. So it's something you can help add your voice, and then they use it to improve their lot. As part of empowering soldiers' families, more support is needed. Very intimate with this project. So it's something, General Mbadi, you need to put included without any further delay. Revamping the production of the UPDF under CPW needs further support. I don't know if General Chiwanuka is here, but it's something we need to push to use most of our idle estate, large estate, which is idle. We can use it to improve our lot. Equipping the Marines Brigade into a fully fledged specialized arm. There's a plan to handle Edward and Albert first, and the process for this is concluded, the contracting process. The Commander Marines Brigade, Brigadier Nyarwa, can fill you in general. What remains is land acquisition. And concluded an inventory of all our land under General Akara. There's that brief should help you. For maintenance and appropriate training and manning of these capabilities. enhancing and improving the area of the force's strategic communication. This includes many initiatives and innovations, among them the idea of capturing the story of the UPDF through compilation of a bespoke UPDF. And we actually should form and capitalize the company to absorb most of these post-retirement in order to take care of the social security and livelihood costs of our veterans. This is an idea to refine and execute under the docket of Veteran Affairs, but also with OWC. General Ivan has developed something, enhancement of UPDF's reach and contribution across wider government, and assuming more presence in new areas ranging from foreign service. We have 3 deputy ambassadors, general officers, immigration, 3 senior positions, including the head. General Go, I think, is here. We have 4 senior key positions in the police, including the deputy IGP, General Okech, also helping in operations other than war. Shouldn't worry, because we are there to serve, to add a brick, and not to usurp the other roles of our partners from the civil service. We are there to reinforce, but not to push away. So I know some people are keen to jump on this one and saying we are taking over, but we are there for good. And where we are, people see that we add value. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my special thanks and gratitude to the President and Commander-in-Chief for the privilege and honor of being his choice for CDF, for the time I have occupied this office, and for his support and guidance throughout my tour of duty. Furthermore, my sincere appreciation goes to the Minister of Defense outgoing, Honorable Adolf Mwesige, and his junior ministers, Honorable Ngola and Honorable Chivanzanga, the Permanent Secretary, the Deputy CDF then and now Chief of Defense Forces, Gen Mbadi, the service commanders, the Joint Chief of Staff outgoing, the chiefs and commanders, the under-secretaries, the commissioners, and all the officers at the ministry and the leaders of UPDF at all levels, the troops, the civilian staff, for the comrade in arms spirit and support. I'm eternally indebted to you and honored to have been the UPDF ship captain. We left indelible impact and strived to touch the soul of the force in all we did during my tenure. It is therefore my hope that the same solidarity will be accorded to you as the incoming CDF. Congratulations once again for your deserved promotion to 4-star general and elevation to this office. When I was made CDF, I said that this was a mountain of a job. Indeed it is. In addition, it is a snowing mountain like Rwenzori. Gladly, you come from Kasese and you understand how to survive on top of mountains. It can be cold up there. You need the warmth of the rank and file to stay put. However, in your job, decide you must and alone, after a consultative process with others, to the laid down forum. Always seek the views of the Commander-in-Chief in running the force. Scale the mountain up to the top, but remember always to come down and connect with those you lead at all the levels of the mountain. It is desirable and makes your work a lot easier. They are very fine people, General. Use them each according to their abilities. Strive always to be fair, to be just, to afford all those under you an opportunity to exert their utmost. They will support you all the way to deliver and achieve your mission. Be a leader for everyone, including the unknown soldier, and never pass judgment or condemn anyone without affording them the opportunity to be heard. I wish you all the best and God's abundant blessings and guidance. Finally, let me use the privilege and honor of handing over the following instruments of authority of this office to you to execute your job.
is the overarching MDP3. This is the defense policy. This is the seal. This is the defense doctrine. These are the stamps. This is the jail services tax.
Van.